It's day 4 of autumn. We still have a field of corn to harvest, but we're going to be taking advantage of a great demand and selling off some wood chips before we do anything else. Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome to Seasons in the Valley. So right now we have a great demand that's carried over from yesterday. As the clock hit midnight, the price did jump up a little bit, and it's currently around €330 per 1,000 litres of wood chips. Now we have around 350,000 litres of wood chips, and quite a bit of cash available to us if we sell some now. Now we already have a whole load of logs that are kind of piled up, ready and waiting to be sold, ready in winter. It means we're going to end up with an insanely large amount of wood chips if we don't get rid of any, to start with. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but because we have this great demand, we can actually sell a whole bunch of our wood chips right now and make some decent money. Not stellar money, but some decent money right now, rather than sort of waiting till winter, having a huge job lot of wood chips, maybe twice the amount that we have now, but risk not having a great demand and therefore watching the price fall continuously with every sort of trailer that we tip. So we're going to kind of bite the bullet and take the fact that, yes, we're not getting as much as we could do for our wood chips per trailer, but it's all going to go through at a constant rate rather than a reduced rate after a few trailers. And we're going to sell quite a lot of our wood chips, probably all of them, if we've got time. The great demand finishes at 9 o'clock in the morning, so we don't have a lot of time. We're going to kind of make the most of it right now. There is our trailer that we left here. Just back up to that. There we go. And here are our silos where our wood chips are stored. So there's 81,000 in this one, and we've got 300,000 in that one, so we've got 380,000, a little bit more than I thought. But as I say, this great demand is due to finish in a few moments, and we had rain predicted for today, as you can see on the forecast. It does actually look as though it's about to start raining oh, and speak of the devil, there is the rain. As I was just saying, it looks like it's about to rain. Here it comes. So we're going to have a period where once we've sold these wood chips, we're going to have to wait for crops to dry out before we can do anything else. Now, I'm kind of hoping that by selling these wood chips, we'll actually raise enough to purchase a small block of fields that I've been looking at, and then we can claim those and take the little bit of grain that's on them, because they're not particularly big fields, they're pretty small, but we can take the little bit of grain off those and then add those into our little sort of allocation of fields. So reach the tip point, start selling. You can see the price there, 331 is the current price for our wood chips, which is up from about, I think it was 270 yesterday. Now if we look at the overall kind of menu price for wood chips, you can see it is actually predicting a higher price, but this is a great demand that we have at the moment, so the price will drop once this great demand is finished, and then maybe by the end of the day, assuming that we don't sell anything, it may possibly reach that, but then obviously again it would fall after every single trailer that we tip. So we're getting around 15,000 litres by the look of it per trailer. That's not bad. So with 380,000, we could be looking at well over $100,000 worth of wood chips here. That's not too bad at all. And then to say we've got all those logs, as you can see, piled up along there. We can chip those in the winter. We can even add more logs to that if we need to as well, and make some money over winter with a fresh batch of wood chips. So I'm going to carry on sort of emptying these silos. You see we've got a partial trailer here. We've emptied that first silo. Let's move around. Come up on this one here. And there we go. We're automatically emptying to top that one up. Let's tip this one as well. So yeah, I'm going to empty out our silo, or do as many of these loads as I possibly can in the remaining hour before this great demand ends. Hopefully, we'll get the whole lot tipped. But if we don't, we'll certainly get as much of it done as we possibly can. And then we'll take the money that we make from this, and the fields that I'm looking at buying are these 3 fields here, 44, 45 and 46. That little group of fields there will probably set us back around about 120,000, I think it is, for those 3 fields. They all need harvesting. One of them's a spud field, so we'll probably just plough that one over. But there is a canola field there, and there is, I think, a wheat field there as well, or maybe a barley field. I'll double check that again in a second. Oops, that's the wrong silo, isn't it? One behind it. I do probably need to reposition that rear silo a little bit more as well. It's a little bit far off the edge of the path. Let's see if I can maybe reposition that slightly closer so we don't run the risk of putting the trailer off the back there. But yeah, let's see those fields. So we've got canola, potatoes. Oh, soybeans is the last one there. So if we can add that into our existing crops, we don't actually have. We have a large amount of canola already in storage, and we've just done a large amount of soybean. So we'll get a nice little boost on those 2 crops there with those 2 small fields. And then we can plough them together, and that'll be an extra field for us to work in the new year once spring comes around. If we're quick enough, we might even be able to get a cover crop in there as well. Of course, tomorrow is looking like it's going to be a good day. We have sunshine predicted for tomorrow, so that's going to be our mowing day. We're going to try and do another cut on our fields and get some more bales made. And who knows, we might even look at buying some sheep as well. It's something I have been curious about, is adding in some animals. I think we're going to be about the right time of year. They should be just down here. Yeah, so sheep are pretty cheap right now, so this is probably about the best time to buy them. They're just over 4,000 by the look of it. So slightly higher than the sort of lowest price in regular seasons of 4,000, but they're certainly cheaper than they are at any other point in the year around this time of year. So we might even add a few sheep in as well. Nothing too substantial, maybe just sort of 10 or 20 sheep. And we have some hay bales already in the loft. We could always make some more with our second cut tomorrow, and that way we'll have a nice little food supply to keep them going through winter and spring into the next summer. So I'm going to carry on sort of emptying this silo out and running trailers back and forth to the tip point, and I will catch up to you once that is complete. It looks as though we timed this just about right. This is going to be the final load of wood chips. As you can see, we've got about 13,500 litres or so left to go in. That's it. And we've got just a couple of minutes left before the great demand finishes at 9 AM. So we have timed this pretty much perfectly. I was a little worried that we weren't going to have enough time to sell everything, and as it is, we're just about going to make it. Could not have worked out better. Really quite chuffed with that. So there we go. There goes the last load of wood chips. We've made, well, we said we've got 109,000 there. We were already about 12,000, 13,000 euros, I think, in debt. So we've actually made a fair amount. You can see the price actually kept creeping up in this final hour. It's up to 335 now. But any second now, as soon as we hit 9 AM, that great demand is going to stop. It's going to disappear. And the price is going to crash. So, yeah, we managed to time that just about right. Let's put this trailer away. We'll keep it up here for now. I don't think we're going to need it back on the farm anytime soon. And there we go. Price is 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on the time there, and it's now 2.79. It's dropped, but you can see there is a green arrow. The price is about to start climbing through the rest of the day. Where it will end up, I'm not entirely sure, but it will be lower than it should be because we've just sold 380,000 litres of wood chips. So it should have been higher than what it'll end up as. But as I say, that is not a fixed price now anymore. That is a price that will fluctuate dramatically the more and more wood chips get sold. So I think we've done quite well for ourselves, and we do have that large stockpile of wood, as I said, ready to sort of tide us over in winter, and plenty more trees for us to actually work with as well. So I'm going to head over to those fields in the top sort of area of the map now that we were just looking at, fields 44, 45, 46, and we're going to go and see if we can purchase those. Well, this is promising. It's just gone 9:10, and the rain is stopping. So a very short rainfall. It started raining around about 7 o'clock, 7:30. So it started raining, you know, actually no, we started around 7:30, didn't we? So it started raining around about sort of 7:45 sort of time, and it's finished already at what, just after 9 o'clock. So a very, very short rainfall indeed. I wonder how wet the crop levels are. Let's just pull over here for a second. This might give us an indication as to how long we'll have to wait for our corn to dry out. See how moist this crop is. It might not let us scan it because it's not ours, but it should do. There we go. So it's at 25% moisture, so it's got a lot of drying out to do. We know from experience from yesterday that we need to let it drop to around about 20% before we can even attempt to harvest. Now, I have no idea how long it's going to take at this time of morning. It's very early, the sun isn't really out yet, the air temperature isn't all that high, it's only 10 degrees, so it's going to take a while for any kind of drying to go on. But it's kind of promising that the rain was so short. It means that we don't have to wait, you know, for the very end of the day, hopefully, for those crops to be ready. They should be able to dry out a little bit quicker. I think this is where we need to turn. These are our fields here by the look of it. Yes, they are. Do we have an access road down here? Yes, we do. Excellent. So we can turn down here. Good stuff. And there is a nice little grass field on the end there as well. Let's start picking out these fields. So 46, let's see, this field here is 34,000. So yes, we'll buy that. Thank you very much. Field 45 should be even a little bit cheaper, I think. 33,500. We'll buy that one as well. And what about field 44? How much is this one going to set us back? 56. We're 15,000 short, and I'm going to take out that 15,000. There we go. So we have 3 new little additions there. We've got 2 fields that we can definitely harvest, one that we can't really do anything with. I suppose I probably should have done that as a contract job to clear that off, and at least got an extra. It wouldn't have made any difference. At least if we plough this in, we can gain an extra stage of fertilisation. So actually, it's probably better that we did do it this way. So we've got a little wait to go until we can actually start harvesting these 2 little fields up here. But there's nothing to stop us from maybe coming up with the plough and ploughing out field 45. As I say, I do really want to get our combine up to the cornfield a little bit later and do that today as well. I want to try and get all of the harvesting out of the way today, if at all possible, so that tomorrow we can concentrate on getting those grass fields done. There you can see is field 50, and then our new big super field, fields 51, 52. Really big space of land around here now. You can see with all these colours and these trees, we are getting some little bit of frame rate dropping going on, but nothing too bad. But yeah, there we go. That's our new big field just over there. I'm actually going to shortcut this way along the side and get back up to our farm this way. So we have got some fertilizing that we can get done by the look of it. So let's do that instead. We need to break out the T6 and our spraying set and do a little bit of fertilizing. So here we are in our little T6. This is our baby tractor now that we've got rid of the T5. We don't need to change the wheels over for a stage 1 spread. You see that grass still hasn't grown in yet. I'm hoping that'll be done by tomorrow. And we have got this oilseed radish crop that we can cultivate as well. I would like to try and get that done before winter sets in. But here is our winter wheat that's growing in. Or was it barley? I can't remember what we planted on here. Was it wheat or barley? It was barley. So we'll get this field sprayed, boost this field up to stage 2 fertilization, and then we'll only need to give it 1 application after that, and that's probably going to have to wait until the spring. I'm really curious as to what exactly is going to happen to this field over winter. Now, it should grow once spring resumes, but if the ground freezes up over winter, is that going to kill our crop? I honestly don't know. I mean, we're inside the planting window and it's not supposed to be harvestable until spring, so this is a crop that can be planted, you know, as a winter crop, but has the fact that it's now started growing early caused a problem for us? This is what I don't know. We haven't experimented with this before, so I guess we'll find out in the new year whether or not this crop has actually survived the winter. It should do, according to the manual, but I don't know whether or not it needs to stay dormant and then grow in the spring. But if it grows in the spring, it's going to grow too late. If it doesn't start growing until spring, it will surely be too late to then get a second crop into the ground again afterwards. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out in the new year once winter has been and gone. But until then, there's nothing more we can do other than just make sure that we do have enough prep work done on the field. So I'm going to carry on spraying and getting this second stage of fertilizer on there. And there we go, the field is done, so that's another little job out of the way. Let's just quickly break out the Wopster again, check the ground moisture. The crop moisture is down to 24%, so it is starting to fall, but we've still got a little way to go yet before we can do our harvesting. So with that said, actually I haven't checked these greenhouses for a long time. I bet these are dried out. Yeah, we need to top up our greenhouses. So we'll grab the water trailer and we'll top those levels up a little bit and start getting some extra income from those again. I need to get in the habit of checking those on a more regular basis. It's been a while. It's because we don't have manure. It just doesn't automatically register about the greenhouses. Plus I don't tend to use greenhouses that often either, so I do tend to forget them. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think they run out a little bit quicker under Seasons Play than they do normally. I noticed when I was on American Midwest, I think the orchard that we have there might have run out of manure and water a little bit quicker than it does normally now that we've converted over to seasons. I might be wrong, but I just get this feeling that it does run out a little bit quicker. So anyway, our water trailer is here, as you can see. Oh, this could be awkward. This could be very awkward. Can we actually connect up to this? Just, yes. Alright, we've got 2,500 litres left, so that should be enough to top up our 2 greenhouses, I hope. And then after that we're going to need to go and get some more water. So we'll take a trip over to the free water point, the sort of little stream crossing area. We'll go top up our tanker and bring that back again. But first of all, let's get these greenhouses topped up. Why won't it let me unload? Oops, I'm on the wrong thing, that's why. I'm on the trailer, not the actual tanker bit. Oh, they're going to need 2,000 litres each, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay. Alright, well, at least we've got one of them up and running. We'll get a partial up on the other one. There we go. Where is our water crossing point? Can we cut through the forest? I think we can. We are here. We need to be here, so well, that's not really a proper cut through, but we can have a look. What is this clearing area just here, I wonder? I'm curious, what is that actually? I'm going to go and take a look. I'm going to drive through the trees a little bit. Alright, so if we follow this way, is this just a clearing? Looks like it might just be a clearing. Is that a field I can see in front of me? Oh no, we've got an actual clearing in here, look. Huh. That's kind of cool, never noticed that before. Mind you, it's quite high up and away from the road, that's why I would never have, driven in here before, just to check that out. Alright, let's be cautious and try and make our way down here. It's a little bit steep and I'm a little bit naughty for doing this, but we're already here, so we might as well. Right, let's go top up our water trailer and then go back and fill up our greenhouses properly. And there we go, we are topped up on both of our greenhouses. It'll be a nice little extra bit of income for us, just to help cover some of our expenses. So it's time to go and put the trailer away again. I've already got the kind of plough hooked up to the back of our T7. While we're still waiting for the ground to clean up, we're going to go and attack those new fields a little bit. So we're going to go and plough out field 45. Plough those spuds into the ground. There we go. Just drop that there. Oops. Like that. I always get my controls mixed up when I'm trying to do this. From my brain just automatically assuming that I'm trying to reverse, so I keep accelerating instead of braking and braking instead of accelerating. But you do have a lot more control if you hook your trailer up to the front. It was someone in the comments that pointed this out to me a while back when I had that episode where I was first using these trailers and really struggling to put it away again. And I have found it, much easier to use the telehandler because the four-wheel steering is essentially like this, but I don't have that problem of muscle memory getting confused. And getting my reverse and turning directions mixed up. I'm so used to having to, turn one way to back a trailer in, and then when you switch the direction of the vehicle and you still turn the same direction, you end up, pivoting it in completely the wrong angle. And there we go, that's done. Let's plonk this away. Let's go jump into our T7. We need to hook a weight up just to give us a little bit of counterbalance. The plough itself is quite a heavy piece of equipment, as you know. There it is, hooked up to the back of our Blue Power T7. I really do enjoy this little PlayStation exclusive tractor that we have here. Obviously I know PC you've got it as a mod, but I have had people on Xbox messaging me asking how I've got it because they couldn't find it. Unfortunately, it is a PlayStation exclusive, so if you're on Xbox you don't have this at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean to say you'll never get this. Giants, you never know, may relent and make it available to everybody as either a free DLC or a mod, but currently, as far as I know, this is still a PlayStation exclusive. Alright, so here we are over at our brand new fields. We're going to plough out field 45 and get that extra stage of fertilization for churning up that crop that's on there. It's of no use to us whatsoever. We don't have equipment to harvest these potatoes, and quite frankly the cost of leasing to actually bring in the equipment that we'd need is way too high, so it's just not worth it to keep them. It actually serves us a much better purpose to turn these into fertilizer, essentially. Now, I'm not sure if, because we're damaging the crop by driving over it before the plough hits it, I'm not sure if we're going to get full coverage on that. I want to check that when we get to the end here. And also, you'll notice, obviously, we're running what is currently lengthways on this field. When we do plough these three together, once the other two have been harvested, this will then become the width of the field, and we will actually work in a different direction. So we'll work in this direction and run up and down the field across all three, because we're going to plough all three of them into a single field. But for now, we're just working within the confines of the space that we have. So let's just check that fertilization on the map. You can see this is where we are. That's interesting. It does look as though we've got a partial stage difference. I'm wondering if I don't think I've actually come up and worked one of these fields before. So I don't know if this is me that's causing an imbalance in the fertilizing, or if it's just the way the field is. I'm very curious about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another pass next to this one, and then we'll be able to kind of compare and see if we've got really patchy bits of fertilization on this, and then I'll hire a worker and finish the field off and see if we get any difference. Okay, so as you can see, we've got 2 passes done manually and now 2 passes done with the worker. Let's compare the difference, because as you can see, the worker isn't damaging the field with crop destruction. The AI deliberately doesn't do that because it would mean you would absolutely ruin your harvest every time the tractor or the combine backs around and turns around for the next pass. So let's see, has it made a difference to the fertilization? And yes, it has. You can see straight away, because we drove over part of that crop, it has actually caused the damage and stopped us from being able to cultivate it into the ground. I was worried that would be the case. So you can see that this field already had a stage of fertilization. I must have done a small contract job on this field at one point to give it a quick spray. But as you can see, it is this is what it should be. It should be at stage 2, and the bit that we drove over and crushed underneath our wheels when we were doing it manually has stayed at stage 1. We destroyed the crop, and therefore there was nothing to cultivate into the ground. So that's a good bit of heads-up information. That's something we can use as a workaround for next time if we ever do decide to plough something like a potato field or a beet field. We can fit a front cultivator and cultivate it into the ground so that we're not driving over it and destroying it, and then obviously we can have a rear-mounted plough that will then obviously churn up the ground behind us, and that way we'll be able to get the +1 stage of fertilizer without destroying this crop. So I'm going to let the worker carry on and finish this field off, but a good little experiment there. It's enabled us to actually see the mechanics of the fertilization in action properly. There you can see a much clearer look at the difference between what we did manually and what the worker has done for us without crop destruction. Okay, so hopefully enough time has passed now for our crops to at least be, if not ready to be harvested, then almost ready. Obviously we've still got to take the combine to the relevant places, and that's going to take a little while because it's not exactly the fastest of machines. So let me just drop the plough here. We're not going to put it away as such because we are going to need it again, although we might not need it until tomorrow. I'm going to hook up to the grain trailer, and let's quickly just scan something just to see what our moisture levels are like. Let's scan this grass. 22% moisture, so we need to get it to 20. So I think by the time we actually get to the field with the combine and then with the grain trailer as well, we're going to be in a position to actually do that harvest. Now I'm going to take the other header with me so that we don't have to go to both fields, or we don't have to come back to the farm between both fields. But we're going to go and do the corn first. So let's get our beacons on. 14 miles an hour is our absolute top speed, so it's going to take us a little while to make it all the way over to field 2/6. As you can see, we've got to get to the main road, follow that all the way up to Villeneuve, then go through Villeneuve and head towards the BGA. And by the time we get there, I'm hoping that everything will be dry enough for us to actually just go straight in and start the harvest. So I will see you on the field in just a little moment. Okay, and here is our corn crop. So I'm going to pull in here so we can drop the header off. There we go. Also going to park up just here as well. We need to obviously bring our grain trailer up, so let's find the T7. There it is. And let's take this over to the field as well. So this time I'm actually attacking the field from the opposite side. You know, going to park our grain trailer up here on the edge of the field. We've got this nice kind of corner piece here where I can just literally pull up and park out of the way. There we go. So let's jump into our combine. See this really tall corn here, complete with its custom corn texture. And it's time for us to actually start harvesting. I hope, actually, I need to scan it just to make sure it is actually dry enough. It's at 21%, so it's almost ready, not quite. We're just going to have to wait just a fraction longer. So let's at least get the combine in position. As I sit here in my air-conditioned cab inside the combine, I've just realised we've still got the moist crop symbol showing in the top right corner of the screen. I didn't even think to look for that. So obsessed with scanning with the Wopster that I wasn't paying attention to the fact that we still have the moist crop symbol. So I'm just going to have to sit and wait until that disappears. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. And there we go. Symbol has gone, so we can now finally get underway with our corn harvest. We're going to have to work late into the night, I think, to make sure that we get the other two fields done today as well. We've got to get all of the harvesting kind of done today. As I say, we need tomorrow to do our grass work, and then Saturday, well, not Saturday, day 6, Thursday, will be our final day to make sure that everything is prepped, ready for the start of winter. So that'll be making sure that our oilseed radish has been cultivated into the fields, and any other prep work that we need to get done, any other ploughing, etc., can get done on day 6. So I'm going to whiz around the edge of this field here, create ourselves a nice little workable border on our field. And finally get this corn brought in. And this has worked out quite nicely in terms of where we position the trailer. You can see that we're almost full on our combine. Just take the cover off. There we go. So I've done a sort of a lap around the field so far, and I've also done a double end at the far end of the field over there, just so I've got a bit of turning room where there are some trees. I'm going to do the same down here. I'm going to actually cut a block and start cutting that block out, and then from there we'll get a worker hired to run the field back and forth for us, and we'll be there to chase him with the trailer. Okay, so we've cut the block there to square this part of the field off. So now it's time for us to get our worker hired. Just get him lined up. There we go. And off we go with our corn harvest. So while our worker is busy harvesting away for us, it's time to kind of go through the results from the Seasons in the Valley viewer poll. 80% of you said let's go out and collect the nuggets, so that is what we will do, and we will do that on the first or second day of winter, so either Friday or Saturday. So what is the plan for the money? Well, I will kind of fill you in on exactly what I want to do with that money. As you can see, we do actually have quite a bit of debt still. We have 860,000 euros of debt. Now, some of that is going to get naturally reduced anyway. We have all those logs that we'll be wood chipping over the winter. That's going to bring us in a nice little bit of extra cash. We also have our grain supplies. So as you can see, we currently have 90,000 litres of wheat, 36,000 litres of barley, with some more coming in spring, 58,000 litres of canola with a little bit more coming hopefully later today, 58,000 litres of sunflower, sorry, 5,891 litres of sunflowers. We'll probably hang on to those for another day. We have 31,000 litres of soybean and a little bit more still to come. And then we have 7,000 litres of corn plus the field that we're harvesting right now. So we have quite a bit of grain that we're going to be able to sell at various different points over the next couple of months or so, through winter and spring, and even, I think, as far as the soybean goes, into summer. We'll have staggered grain sales, which will help bring in some additional cash. We also have some more silage bales that we've made and some more that we are going to make, so we'll have a little bit of extra income from that as well. So what is the plan for the rest of the money? Well, we're going to be buying in some new additional fields. As you can see, we've been kind of steadily just expanding our holdings up here, and what I'd like to do is actually have a second farm up and running by year 3, or during year 3 if possible. So as we have these fields just here, and now we have this field just here, we're going to be looking to add in fields 35, 36, 37 and 38. Now these 4 fields combined will cost us around 176,000 euros, and we can either combine them into 2 fields like that, 37 and 38 and 35 and 36, or we could, if we wanted to, combine them all into one big field, which is probably what I will do. Make that one big field there. We'll have one field here, we'll have this field here, and then maybe we might even plough that into that once the update comes and we can remove those fences. On top of that, we also do need to bring in a little bit more equipment as well. We need to bring in a second T7. Now I did and ah about the possibility of maybe bringing in a T8. A T7 has a maximum of 313 horsepower starting at 288 and will cost us 231,000. For 260,000 we could get a T8, which I think starts at 320 and then obviously goes up towards 400 or so. I think it even goes a little bit beyond 400 horsepower. But we don't really need a T8. We don't have anything that's going to need us to have that much horsepower. I think another T7 is going to be absolutely fine. Plus, I don't want to, buy something really big and expensive just for the sake of having something big and expensive. I do want to have a T9 on the farm at some point in the future, but we aren't in a position to require a T9 just yet. So we'll kind of go with a second T7. We'll keep that in the default New Holland colour scheme. This one here, this blue power one, this will be 313 horsepower and the other one will be 288, and that way we can kind of split the ploughing and seeding and baling duties between the two T7s. I also want to bring in a forage harvester, although we won't be doing that straight away. We'll be doing that part way through next year. So we'll be bringing in the New Holland forage harvester, the FR850, along with a couple of headers for it as well. So this is the harvester just here. That's 374,000 euros, and then we have these 2 headers that we'll be bringing in as well. The 900 SFI, so that we can do some corn chaffing for silage, and the 130 FB that we can use to cut down poplars. And I'm bringing this one in because we are going to buy one additional field as well. We're going to be buying field 55, which is this field just here. And this has currently got beets on it. This is the field next to our grass paddock over by the pig farm, and this is one of the fields that is really nicely kind of shaped and a good size as well to give us a really good yield of poplar and be easy enough to work as well. Plus, it will stop us from having those issues when we try and cut this edge here, saying you do not own this field. Well, we will own that field, and that issue that we have mowing here will go away. So that's going to be our poplar field. It's quite close to the sawmill, which is why I've gone for this particular one just here. Combined with the resolution of that issue there and the size of it and the shape of it, I think we'll get some really good yields of poplar and wood chips from that field there. So there we go, that is the plan for the money. As I say, we'll start doing the nuggets on either the first or second day of spring, and of winter. So a couple more days to go yet before we get there. And then you can see we have snow forecast on 2 separate days now. We knew that we were going to get snow on the 3rd day. Now that the calendar has moved along an extra day, we can see that we're also forecast snow on the 5th day of winter as well. Who knows, maybe we'll even get snow forecast on the 6th as well. So we'll be looking at trying out some of the snow mods. Now there are a couple that we're going to look at, one of which is the BioBelts snowblower. We're going to give that a try, but there is also a brand new silage blade, snow blade that's gone live as well. I think that might be in levelers. No, it's not in levelers. Not sure where that other one is. It might not just be, I think it might not be enabled on this save file. I have got it installed, but it's the orange sort of snow blade that's gone live with an angle on it. So we'll be looking at trying that out as well. So each day of snow that we have, we'll try out one of those different snow mods and see which one works better for us. So there we go. That is the plan for the money and for what we're going to be doing in winter. And I will catch up with you in a little while once we've made some more progress on this field. Time is escaping from us. I don't think we're really going to have enough time, not just in terms of the day, but also in terms of the episode, to actually do our other 2 fields as well. So I think we'll probably have to leave those until day 6, the final day. We'll have to make sure we get up early and hope that we don't have rain that's going to stop us from getting that harvest done. Kind of want to get those fields prepped before the end of autumn, but we'll see how things go. I'm certainly not going to have enough time to do them today in terms of recording time left, and tomorrow we have got to get all that grass work done. You can see we've almost completely drained our fuel tank as well, so just tagging these little bits here, and we're going to have to go and top up the combine. Don't want to run out of fuel before we get this field finished. So let's fold the header up. Where is the nearest fuel point from here? Where is the nearest fuel point from here? Is it down at the... Don't tell me it's all the way down at the sawmill. I think it is. That's a long way to go just to go and get some fuel. Right, I guess we're off to the sawmill to top up our fuel levels. problem with AI workers on steep fields like this, when you've got really steep inclines, is that you tend to have thin lines that get missed. If we take a zoom in on this field here, obviously I've just done one all the way along there. You can see patches where we haven't actually cultivated, or sorry, we haven't actually harvested all of the available corn. So there should be another patch, I think maybe just in front of us as well. Yeah, there it is, look. And you can see it's actually adding up quite a fair bit. This is one of the downsides of AI workers. Sometimes they don't always get everything when you're on an angled incline like this. But you will get a straight line cut. So what I like to try and do is be a little bit more cautious. I'm going to start positioning the worker manually every time out now, and hopefully we won't end up with that same issue again. You can see here we are actually filling that final tooth. Sort of intermittently, we didn't get it for a second there at the start, but now we are kind of getting an extra sort of bit. So hopefully we will clean that extra line that you see just there, all the way along there. Oh, and see, look again, he's slipping down the hill. This is the thing, when you have these steep inclines, you slip down the incline. So you can see we are kind of missing, or we were missing. Obviously I've tried to be a bit more precise this time around. We have got those little bits there. I'm not too worried about those, but yeah, it is something that we do need to be very wary of. He's pretty much full. We're going to have to do a manual empty. You can see how he stepped up, look, fighting that incline, he stepped inside. And that's how we get those bits that we get missed. I'm going to try and make sure that we don't actually miss any of those bits. And this is the final pass. We may possibly have a little bit that we'll have to quickly trim afterwards. There might be a thin line left, but essentially I think we are done. Let's just have a quick check of the mini-map. Yeah, we did leave a little bit. Let's grab that. At least it looks like we left a little bit. Not picking anything up. It looks as though we might have actually got it after all. Not seeing anything go through the harvester. Yeah, we're not tagging anything at all along there, are we? So it looks as though we did actually manage to get it all then. That's pretty good. So those bits around the edges, maybe there were areas that just didn't get planted, but did get fertilised. That might be the case. But there we go, that is it. That's the end of our corn harvest and the end of our day. Yeah, it was just too long a job for us to then go and do our other fields as well. We need to make sure our farmer gets some rest. He's got another long, busy day ahead of him tomorrow. So we'll have to save those 2 remaining new fields until day 6 of autumn. So, yeah, tomorrow is our sunny day. Tomorrow is the day where we have to get all of our grass work done. While I am here, I am going to very quickly just jump over to the BGA while that's unloading. I want to quickly check our bales over here. So let's see. Are these done fermenting? They are fully fermented. So we'll be able to do a price check on those tomorrow and see just how much we get for the smaller sized bales. But for now, it's kind of the end of the day for us. So we're going to take all of our equipment back, store the rest of this corn, and call it a night. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Seasons in the Valley. very soon.